that beats him, if it ever happens, the guy that beats Tiger is having the day of his life, and he'll win by a stroke or two. It's so uneven when it comes to golf, and Tiger Woods, he's the only athlete. Everybody else is flabby and soft and doughy. And it doesn't matter. You can be that and still straighten out your swing. You can be fat and still hit a golf ball straight. You can. I mean, you do not need to be an athlete. Golf does not qualify as a sport. It's a game. Sure, it's a game that's played on a huge, giant course that these guys have to walk around. Well, Eric, how can you say there's no athletic ability? They have to carry their clubs and walk the whole course. Dude, walk? So what? We were meant to walk. Human beings were built to walk. That's what we're supposed to do. That's not technically exercising and being athletic. Walking these days has turned into exercise because people have gotten so fat and lazy they don't even do that anymore. So now people call walking exercise. Oh, I went and walked 2 miles today. It's really tired. Really? Walking? Come on, bro. Man up. Hey, listen, if they were jogging around the course, all right. You know what? If it was like lowest score combined with lowest total time and they were running around the course, I would say, all right, now that takes some athletic ability. You have to be in pretty terrific shape. And by the way, no 53-year-old man would come close to winning any tournaments in that situation. Just in this case. Hit a ball, you walk. You hit a ball, you walk. You hit a ball, you walk. That's it. I mean, that's it. Listen, golf is incredibly hard. I'm not taking anything away from golf as far as it being a challenging pastime. Incredibly hard. All right? Like I said, I'm not a hack. I can play a little golf. But I'll admit that it is really, really difficult to be good at it. Yeah, it takes a lot of practice to be good at it. But it doesn't matter. You can eat a whole bag of frosted donuts every time you go to the driving range, still become a better hitter, but put on 10 pounds. You still become a better, golf ball striker and gain weight. You can't do that with sports. So Greg Norman proves my point. Anytime a 53-year-old man can come and compete with the top level of quote-unquote athlete of your sport, yeah, forget it. Not a sport. But, golf is what it is. Golf has a lot of dedicated, loyal fans. A lot of people love it. And I don't think anybody cared before Tiger played, and I don't think anybody cares when he's not playing. I think that the guys on ESPN and ESPN Radio, they were just making so much of this. It was driving me nuts. I was like, really? You guys can't come up with anything better to talk about than Greg Norman? And it's the same thing. Why do you think they have... You remember a few years ago when Steve Phillips did his fake press conferences? I know you guys I've talked about those on here many times. Anyhow, it was right about this time of year. There was nothing else going on. It was right about this time of year they started doing the fake press conferences where Steve Phillips pretended that he was the GM of different baseball clubs. It was just silly. Silly, goofy stuff. Let me get back. Oh, man. Oh, where to go from here? I get so worked up sometimes coming in here. Oh, ESPN. Do you remember also last year when they did the Who's Now? Same time of year, this time of year. All right, right in the smack dab in the middle of baseball season. Basketball's over. Football's still a little while away. They have to do something to fill time. And now this year, you know what they're doing? They're doing this Title Town. Yeah, they're doing this Title Town. Who's Title Town? Everybody vote on who you think is the Title Town. Number one Title Town. Listen, ESPN's got to do what it's got to do. It has to put on programming. So, I'm not really knocking it for that, but I wouldn't mind if the guys on the radio came out and said, I'm completely honest. When I come in here with not a lot to talk about because there's not much going on, I'll say, hey, you know what, guys, not a lot going on today. You know what I mean? We'll talk about the interesting stuff, but I might as well leave 45 minutes early because I don't want to waste your time with me babbling on about useless, pointless things you don't care about, things like Greg Norman and the British Open. Nobody cares about that, man. Sorry. They just don't. I don't. I know you don't. Who cares about golf if Tiger's not playing? And nobody. It wouldn't even. And what did he finish? Listen, Greg Norman finishes 9 over par. All right, loses to some guy named Pedigo or something weird. And so that's the end of your big story. That's your exciting climax. Oh yeah, and then he loses, and then Greg Norman loses. Ooh, look at what Greg's doing. Look at what he lost. I want to talk a little bit about something else. I don't know if I want to do Favre next or defend fantasy football. Let's do Brett Favre next. Let's talk about Favre. If you heard during the opening song, I played a clip of Brett Favre, when from his retirement speech when he was crying. You guys remember that? I don't know if I want to play. I just want to play. I don't know if I want to play, but I like to play. I can still play, but I don't know if I want to play anymore. I don't think I can play. You guys remember that? Oh, man. I couldn't even handle it. I love Brett Favre. I couldn't handle the crying and sniveling he was doing during his press conference. Listen, I know it's hard to walk away from what you love doing. I understand that. And that's why he wants to come back now. but I didn't want to. I like hearing him cry. Anyhow, that's not what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about Favre crying. I also played a Frank Caliendo clip of him from Mike and Mike in the Morning where he's doing John Madden singing about my Favre is back. Pretty funny stuff. But let's talk about Brett Favre coming back. All right, let's talk about what that is doing to Green Bay, what they should do. Listen, when I heard he wanted to come back and that he had tried to come back, I thought, oh, good for the Packers. Yeah, this is obvious. This has got to be what they want, right? I mean, you got to want Favre back. And then I hear, you know what? No, not really. They don't want Favre back. They want to go with Aaron Rodgers. And if Favre, they won't release Favre. They won't trade him. If he does come back, he's going to be on the Packers active roster. That's what they say. He's not going to be a starter. He's going to be on the roster, possibly as a backup to Aaron Rodgers. Listen, I don't like how Favre is getting such a like he's kind of being vilified in this situation. All right, listen, he wants to come back. This is one of the greatest players to ever put on a helmet. He wants to come back. I'm failing to see the problem. I'm failing to see the Packers' problem with this.